Welcome to another episode of Jay Leno's Garage. Today we're featuring the 2011 Aston Martin Vantage V12. Now, we did the DBS once before. Well, that car has the V12 with the 6-speed gearbox. I love that car. I thought it was fantastic. But that car is a little bit bigger than this car. And what they've done is taken the big engine from the DBS and put it into this car here. Now, this car originally came with a V8, 420 horsepower. Now has 510 horsepower, just like the DBS. Weighs about, 150 pounds less than the other car. Physically, a much smaller car than the DBS. I prefer this car. I like the size of this car. Put this in perspective for you. It's about the size of a Porsche 911. I know I always say Porsche. I know it's Porsche. Stop correcting me. I've been doing that since the third grade. But anyway, somehow Aston Martin always seems to get it right. If it's possible to get seduced by a car, this would be the one that does it. Because you look at it and you go, okay, but there are other cars that have more horsepower. Yeah. But something about this car just seduces you. I can't explain it. I found myself taking the long way home continuously every day when I was driving it. Women go crazy for this car, and they'd come up and they'd talk, oh, well, you want to talk to me? Well, yes, this is my car right here. My wife went crazy for it. My wife is not necessarily a big car person, and she just thought this was just a beautiful, beautiful car. The difference between the V8 and the V12 is on the V8, the weight distribution is 49% front, 51 back. With the V12, it's 51 front, 49 back. Not that much of a difference on the road, I don't think. I'm not a race car driver, but I like to pretend I am. Later, Justin Bell will take this car to Willow Springs, and he'll give you a race car driver's perspective of the car. A lot of the cars, especially the German cars at this level, the interiors get a little stark. Well, here, let's take a look. As you can see, the doors open upward at an angle, full leather interior in that wonderful English way that they do. And you've got a lot of carbon fiber inserts in it. Plenty of leg room. I didn't find myself cramped in this car. I didn't find the steering wheel blocking any of the gauges. It's got a proper gearbox. I realize the paddle shifters are faster, but sometimes going fast isn't always necessarily the key to having a good time. At 510 horsepower, this car fits right, probably dead in the middle of all the supercars. There are some, well, the Corvette has 640 horsepower. If there was anything lacking in the V8 Vantage, it was 420 horsepower. And that, God, 10 years ago, that would have been mind-blowing. But nowadays, that's okay. This is the perfect Vantage. This should be the model. Let's look under the hood here. All this cross-bracing makes for an extremely stiff chassis. I am very impressed. For a long time, I just kind of thought, I don't know, kind of a Beverly Hills car. No, not at all. They're really building true sports cars in the classic Aston Martin tradition. And of course, you got all these little touches. Final inspection by Simon Ward. If you have a problem, you call Simon Ward. Simon, yes. Now, don't call the factory and speak to Simon. He's very busy, but he's inspecting other cars. But as you can see, I love the fact that, and I've done this myself, when you call the Aston Martin factory, you actually speak to a human being who will actually go like this, and, oh, and here's your car, and here's what we can do for you, and whatever. So I like those sort of personal touches. I am not crazy about these louvers, but you have a V12 in the place where a V8 is, so it's pretty cramped. If it was me, I would get a black or a dark color, so these louvers tend to fade into the hood a little bit more. But that's really my only criticism. It's one of those things where you get in it and logically it tells you one thing, then your heart tells you something else. You go, I'm sorry, I like this car. The Aston Martin key, they call it an emotion unit. It's made of glass, and you put it in, and let's open the trunk. You can actually put suitcases and things in here. I just like the size of these cars. So many of these supercars, like the Murcielago and whatnot, are just big, wide automobiles. You take up the whole lane. This thing, you can actually place it down the road, and you've got 19-inch wheels. And I'm not a big fan of these 20 and 21-inch tires. To me, 19 is a nice size. It gives you a good ride, a comfortable ride, and it looks good and looks sporty as well. But let's take this thing for a spin and see how it does. As I said, this is a full-on sports car, but with GT levels of refinement and comfort. So many sports cars are going for that Lotus thing, you know, just a stark out-and-out sports car, and that's great. But, you know, if I was going to Vegas or driving to San Francisco or in a car for more than 7 or 8 hours, boy, this is a nice place to be. This has a very traditional English feel. I love the fact that they've got modern powertrains. You've got a V12, you've got a proper 6-speed gearbox, but they've retained that Englishness that is so unique to Aston Martin. Just the right number of electronics here on the dash, not overly done, you know. You've got your navigation, which pops up here. I rarely use that stuff. And I like the fact that when it's down, I have a clear dashboard. Analog clock, AM, FM radio, the usual, but power. See, when the camera car thinks it's going to pass you, you just step on the gas. You pull away. This has all the usual things, traction control and all that, and you can disable it if you want. You have a sport button, which firms things up a bit and makes the exhaust sound a bit more aggressive. Now the cops are following us. Why, thanks. See that? Even the cops like it. That was very close. And of course you have this gear shift lever that looks like something, a T4 for Arnold Schwarzenegger to shift. You grab the giant T4 handle, then you make the car shift like the Terminator. I'm rather disappointed that Ferrari has given up on the traditional gearbox. I think it's great. It gives you a level of driving involvement that you just don't get with the paddle shifter. You know, this car just feels right. Seat, steering wheel, gear shift lever. I don't know, it fits me perfectly. I mean, I've read road tests where shorter guys had a problem, but for me, fantastic. It is a firm ride. It's definitely a sports car ride, but firm does not mean uncomfortable. It just means firm. No rattles, no shakes. I don't see the cowl going like that. And boy, that exhaust note sounds wonderfully understated. You know, it's just the right decibel level, not too loud, not too quiet, but you definitely know it's there. It's almost the perfect combination of hardcore track sports car and GT car. When you get an Aston Martin, you feel like you're a member of a very exclusive club. There's a whole Aston Martin sort of lifestyle, you know, and I don't know, I'm a sucker for it. I love that I could go to the factory and talk to the men and women on the line building the car, and I like that the line moves slow enough so that you can sort of go over there and talk to them while they're working. You know, it doesn't look like a car factory, it looks like a hospital for automobiles. Very white, very quiet, very clean. Now for something totally out of character. You can hang the tail out, very nice. Boy, I love this car. And of course with 6 speeds at 80 miles an hour, you're barely turning 3,000 RPM, so the car is very unstressed. I think it rides a bit firmer than a DBS, but that's what it's supposed to do. And I was very impressed with the DBS. I was stunned by it, actually. So when this car came along, I knew what to expect. I knew I was going to get a extremely modern level of refinement and handling. You know, for a long time, Aston Martins were kind of a rich man's plaything. David Brown bought the cars, and he loved them. And I remember someone went to him and said, I want to buy an Aston Martin, but I want to buy it for what you build it for, not what you sell it for. David Brown charged him $500 more. And that's how much he lost at every car. Then a man named Victor Gauntlet ran the company for a long time. When I was at the factory, I got to meet his son, because Victor Gauntlet was one of my heroes as well. Anybody that saves a car company and does something for the love of it is my hero. You know, if you're looking for a car in this class and this price level, you should check out this Vantage. Look, I like Ferraris and all those other things too. They're very nice, but you know, this one will seduce you as it did me. You know, a lot of people say, well, other cars have more horsepower. They might. But you know something? A good driver in a smaller horsepower car can beat an average driver in a supercar. I mean, I've seen that in motorcycles. It all comes down to the person behind the wheel. 510 horsepower is a lot. And as I said, since it's smaller and lighter than the DBS, you feel that power to weight ratio. But how does it do on the track? Let's go to my friend Justin Bell. He took this thing up to Willow Springs, and you know, Justin, he won Le Mans and is a big-time race car driver, and let's see how he does. Justin?
Well, that's right, Jay. Now I'm here at Willow Springs Raceway out in the desert. It's about 102 degrees, so certainly going to be a fun day. Now, obviously, we got a chance to drive the V12 Vantage around Burbank, but here I am at one of the days that Aston Martin is putting on all around the country to give prospects and dealers the chance to get behind the wheel of the cars, and they let me come along. What they've done with the Vantage V12 is actually obviously increase the thresholds for the active handling and shifting pattern and things. So down here I push the button onto Sport, and then I push this one for 2 seconds and it goes to track mode, and it still has everything engaged but allows a lot bigger slip angle, as you are about to see. Okay, I'm off. Oh. 510 horsepower, 420 foot-pounds of torque, and a very sprightly chassis.
Well, there you go. You got to see Justin take it around the track at Willow Springs. As you can see, this is a real sports car. And, boy, this is very tempting. One of these might wind up in my garage. I gotta be very careful. It's getting a little crazy with the cars. We'll see you next week.